Betting on sports can be hard, but hiring Morgan & Morgan is easy. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. They have over 100 offices nationwide and more than 1,000 lawyers. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/bestbets or dial #law, #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/bestbets. This is a paid advertisement.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN, the sports betting network. We'll begin this hour talking best bets in soccer as Steve Wyss joins the program. He's on X at Meatman Soccer. He's with the Nordic Football Podcast and Because We Win. And he is on the Progressive guest line. Steve, good afternoon. Good evening to where you're at. Thanks for the time today. How you been?
Well, good evening to you guys. Yeah, doing all right. Busy period. Looking ahead to Christmas. We have a lot of soccer games over here in the UK. Boxing Day, full card, and then, towards the end of December as well. So it's a really crazy period where the schedule gets a bit bonkers, for want of a better word. And it really starts this week. This starts this weekend.
Yeah. Well, we seemingly talk to you about this every other week, and it's regarding Man City. They are in horrible form. 1 win, last 11 matches. What would you put, and they might have this big points reduction coming at some point, right? So that's the big speculation. When is it coming? Is it actually going to happen this year, yes or no? What's a fair price, in your opinion, right now on this team to get relegated?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I've said all year that the points deduction, if there is one, is likely to be announced in February. And then after that, there could be appeals and stuff. But really, the resolution should be before the end of this season. I wish there was more transparency. I wish we knew what might happen. Because Manchester City right now, if you took 40 points off them, they'd be on minus 13, for example. If you took 30 points off them, they'd be in minus points. The problem is on the field, they've not been doing very well recently. Something like 8 defeats in 11 in all competitions along those lines. What's a fair price now? Because if we factor in, just say that there is a points deduction, and let's just say, for want of argument, say it's 25 points, then I think a fair price for them to go down would be probably around about 7 or 8 to 1. One thing I will say, there's 2 or 3 teams at the bottom of the Premier League who are awful. Mm-hmm. So that might save them. The team that finishes 18th might honestly only get 27, 28 points this season, potentially. So that would be their hope.
There's a lot of different ways to bet it, though. Outside the top 4 is plus money. Bottom half of the table was plus 550 not that long ago. So there's there are other great ways to bet this as well. And you're right, they're in poor form, and you want to oppose them again. They're the early match Saturday against Aston Villa. Nigel right away said, you got to grab this price, what was available on Villa, and to win outright's a juicy price, but you want to try draw no bet. Tell us why.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Nigel here. I think it's a great time to bet against Manchester City again. Aston Villa won this fixture last season 1-0, and they've got a great coach in Unai Emery who he knows how to set up against these big sides. You go into sort of a defensive game plan, and there's probably a good chance Villa can keep a clean sheet here and not concede a goal, because Manchester City are not really doing much offensively. Haaland looks really, really quiet. They can't get him any service. So I think at very worst, Aston Villa can draw, and it's around about the plus 135, plus 140 mark for this. You might be able to get more if you shop around. But, I'd see Villa winning the game, or at very least drawing it, because you've got a good manager, good tactics, and Manchester City's form is awful. The only real question mark is Aston Villa's own form, which isn't great, but their problem's been juggling Champions League with domestic matches. So I think that whole week off now is going to be a fresh set of legs for Aston Villa. And the early kickoff as well sometimes favours the underdog and the home team. So it looks a good time to be on Villa. And you're right, by the way, Pauly, about Manchester City, plus money to finish outside of the top 4. I mean, that could actually legitimately happen anyway, even without any points deductions.
That's right.
Yeah, because they're not playing well.
No. They are, Tottenham's in 10th. They're only 4 points behind them. Think about that. And that's just how bad they've been in this horrible form. You've been all over Brentford, the overs, the first half goals. How about Brentford again against Nottingham Forest?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to put off anyone taking the first half goals again here, but I'm going to go with the overall match goals this time, over 2.75. 13, this is the key stat, 13 out of 16 Brentford games have gone over 2.5 this year. And if that happens again, then we will at least cash a half winner with this bet. And Forest, for a long time, were a great under cash cow for us. But things have changed. I think they've got confident with their own league position. The pressure's off them, so they've been a bit more offensive recently. And Nottingham Forest matches have been a good watch, actually. There's been some really good moments for them offensively. They've scored goals. In Chris Wood, they've got one of the leading scorers in the league. Big target man, New Zealand forward. And, I mean, they won't have any fears of the Brentford defence, who conceded 30 goals. So this should be, I mean, I think there'll be goals in both halves. This could be something like a 2-2 draw, a 3-2 win for someone. Brentford are good at home, so they probably win. But over 2.75, this looks a good line. And I think we can only get this goal line because of Nottingham Forest's reputation. And that's sometimes, if it was Brentford against someone who had a reputation for more goals, the goal line would probably be 3 or even 3.25 goals here. Also, why I prefer the overall match goals to the first half goals is I've noticed Forest games in the second half have really opened up more than the first half. So I'd rather play the overall match goals in this situation.
Okay, excellent. Follow the money, Pauly and Mitch Vyss, the Sports Betting Network. Steve Wyss, our guest, the meat man on the Progressive guest line. A miracle win by Man U to rally late and score twice against City. Now they're taking on Bournemouth. What do you want to do with the Bournemouth? Draw no bet again, Sunday.
I am going to go against Manchester United. Bournemouth, draw no bet, plus 200. I'm not convinced by Man United. Anyone who watched that game last week, they only won it because Manchester City self-exploded, really. Manchester United weren't that impressive, I didn't think. Well done on getting the win. But they're a massive work in progress under their new manager, Ruben Amorim, and I think he will sort them out eventually. But he needs a few transfer windows. He still doesn't know what his best 11 is. They've just been played tonight. The match has just finished against Spurs in the Cup. They lost 4-3. It was an absolute thriller. You know, they might have taken quite a bit out of them. And Bournemouth, if you look at the underlying metrics of Bournemouth this season, some would have them in the table as high as 3rd or 4th on expected points. They miss too many chances. That is their problem. If they could convert their chances, Bournemouth would be top 6 to 8 material. But they've got some really fast-paced attackers. Semenyo, this guy loves to have a shot. I've got a feeling this might be the sort of game he shoots and scores in, actually, because he can catch Manchester United out on the counter-attack. Bournemouth are another team that got a very, very good young head coach. He's Spanish. Andoni Iraola. I think 2 or 3 years' time, this manager could be at a big club. He's very well sought after. He's beginning to garner a great reputation. And I think Bournemouth can come here and shock Manchester United. They won this fixture 3-0 last season. They've got happy memories of going to the ground. Man United might be a bit tired. Draw no bet. Full security. If there is a draw, you don't lose anything. Looks a big price to me. Plus 200, worth a go.
All right. Sunday as well. Another total. Leicester City and Wolverhampton over.
2 awful teams, really, especially defensively. And when that happens, you usually get a horrendous 0-0 or a crazy game. I just think both will look at the fixture and think, we've got to win this, especially Wolves, who are an absolute mess. They've just sacked their manager. It looks like they're getting a Portuguese coach in who's managing over in the Middle East at the moment. He won't be in charge for this game, but they've got to have a go here. They really do. And Leicester, since the Ruud van Nistelrooy's come in, they have had a 3-1 win, a 2-2 draw, and they got absolutely smashed by Newcastle last week. I called that one right. And I do worry about Leicester's defence. I think there's goals in both teams here. I would love to see Cunha play for Wolves, but he's probably going to get a ban tomorrow or Saturday morning for basically putting his hand in an opposing member of the coaching staff's face last week and removed his glasses from his face. So he's probably not going to get away with that unless they can hold an appeal and keep it going for a week or two longer. But I still think even without Cunha, Wolves have got goals in them. Jurgen Strand-Larsen's a good player up front. Jamie Vardy for Leicester, real old fox in the box, knows where at the back of the net. Over 2.75 line, again, all we need is over 2.5 goals and we will cash something. I love when 2 really poor defences go against each other, I'm always going to take the goals.
We had a winner last week with Blackburn. Let's go to England Championship League, the league under the Premier League, and they're opposing Millwall, right back with Blackburn. Tell us why.
Because they've won their last 6 games, and 5
Beautiful.
of them to nil.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we got on the last 2 shows that I was on, and I think they could win to nil again because Millwall have just gone terribly off form. They're winless in 6 matches. They've only scored 3 goals in those 6 games. Millwall's last 3 defeats have been 1-0 exactly. And guess what? Blackburn have won 3 of their last 4 games 1-0. So we could get another 1-0 win for Blackburn here. They're so well organised defensively. They work so hard. They're not incredibly, they've not got amazing individual players, but they're a really great team overall. And we can. How are they the dog here? Again, draw no bet plus 130. This is stupid. I mean, for like the 2nd or 3rd week in a row, Blackburn are crazily overpriced. Huge value. I mean, it could be a draw, but I mean, I think this will be a low-scoring game. But Blackburn have to be backed again. Keep riding this hot hand whilst they keep doing so many good things right on the pitch.
Yep, I agree. Enjoy the early matches next Thursday, and we'll talk to you after an exciting day of soccer next week. Happy holidays. Appreciate you.
Yeah, and the same to you guys. I really hope you have a great Christmas, and let's so we can cash some winners and get some money in the kitty ahead of a massive set of fixtures across Europe and the UK. But take care.
Thank you.
You too.
Meatman Soccer on X, Steve Wyss, and Nordic Podcast, and also Because We Win. I tell you, Nigel knows something. He's sitting on something. Every time I ask him, 40-point reduction. I'm hearing 40. I'm hearing 40. They're playing like they already know it's what the penalty is. And that certainly adds up with 1 win in the last 11 matches. But
would you take 10-1?
Oh, boy. He's right, though, about those
I know.
Wolves and Southampton being dreadful. I think you just take bottom half and not to finish top 4, which could happen anyways. He's right.
We'll discuss a very big NBA card tonight. There's a really good angle when both teams are on rest, and in some cases extended rest, which happens tonight.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We're going to take you inside Mitch and Pauly's Pizzeria coming up in 15 minutes. Long shot bets that you like. For, you sprinkle on some a large pepperoni. Maybe throw a calzone on there as well. Here we go with tonight's big NBA card, Pauly. A couple of really good angles that Steve Makinen wrote about today at vsin.com, because so many of these teams are either on rest, off a rest, I should say, or off extended rest playing tonight for the first time in a while, and I'll give you 2 of them. Under the total is 79 and 51. That is 61% over the last 4 years when one team was on 2 days rest and the other opponent was playing a third game in an 8+ day stretch. And you have Utah, Detroit in that category tonight, Charlotte, Washington, Brooklyn, Toronto, the Clippers, Mavericks, Denver, Portland, and the Lakers and the Kings. And there's another one here. Under is 40 and 24, which is 63%. Since the beginning of last year when both teams were in the same situation, meaning their third game in 8+ days. Both teams rested. And Makinen just said play the under in all 13 games today. I did a round-robin parlay by 7s and 8s tonight.
Okay.
In the NBA.
Yeah.
Little pizza money there.
Yeah.
Put down a little, potentially win a lot. So hopefully this comes to fruition again tonight. Good angle there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
A lot of big totals in some of these games as well.
Yeah?
Yep. I want to see what the Lakers look like tonight after Redick tinkered with the starting lineup and they got a win against Memphis, and then all this time off, how they planned it to give LeBron some rest, and how they take on Sacramento. That's a good late game with Sacramento coming up to 5.5 now. And a big total in that game. They're off the thriller against Denver. What a game that was. Denver was up 18, blew it. And then I think they made, the teams combined in the final 90 seconds, they made 8 straight shots. And Murray hit the game winner in a great game. So we'll see where the Lakers are at. It's been ugly here the last couple of weeks, but it's a 2 in a row here against Sacramento. And also the Nuggets on the road against the Blazers as well. Hard to figure out this Denver team. And maybe a trade's coming. Because certainly Jimmy Butler could be on the move. because the Heat are saying no Moss to Butler. So expect some trades coming up, but we'll see if Denver can put it on Portland right now with another big total.
So what do you think of this spot now for Oklahoma City? They played out here in Las Vegas in the NBA Cup Championship 2 nights ago.
Yep.
Now they're in Orlando, and they're laying 6.5 or 7 in this game tonight. And OKC is number 1 overall in defensive rating. Orlando is 3rd. The Magic also play at the 4th slowest pace in the entire league. Do we get a bounce back tonight after a really bad shooting performance the other night?
I believe so, yeah. That was embarrassing. And it was on, everyone was watching. It was the only game in town. It was the championship. So as much as we made about young group of guys hanging out in Vegas and stuck, if you will, for 3 nights, it looked like it, and how they performed, I think you'll see a good bounce back here. Now, Orlando's a great story. How can you lose Paulo and Wagner and you're still playing like? Mosley's an incredible coach and a great job how they're still in first place and what they've done here. But I would expect a bounce back in a team that's ticked off after how bad they played and embarrassed themselves.
Here's another nugget at vsin.com from Steve Makinen. NBA teams, remember how in the NBA teams would always score below 90 points? You'd get an 83-79 game. That was commonplace, late 90s, early 2000s, right? NBA teams in recent times here that are off a game when they scored 90 points or fewer have responded exceedingly well. Mm-hmm. They're 61% ATS, last 189 games. So that speaks to this team bouncing back after they only made 5 3-pointers and they took a ton of them. In that third quarter and the whole second half for the Thunder. And I bet you that they've been stewing on that performance for 2 days now. You could tell SGA when he walked off the court, he was livid at how bad he was in that game. Mm-hmm. Here's a game that I did not play the under with tonight. It's the Bulls and the Celtics. Now, Boston, again, they're 10-16 ATS on the year. They're one of the worst teams at covering spreads. The total is either 240.5 or 241. How about a same-game parlay in this spot tonight? They just played November 29th. That score was 138-129. In that game, Tatum had 35 and 14. Pritchard had 29 points and 7 threes. Brown and Porzingis had 21. Vooch had 32 and 11 with 6 threes. Levine had 29. So I took a same-game parlay that I played in this game tonight, if we get a similar performance, is Tatum's rebounds over. I took Pritchard, points and threes, and I took Vooch over his threes as well. And it pays around, I think I'd go back and double-check, like around 10-1, I believe.
Okay.
But my best bet tonight in this game, it's the G-Bank bet of the night, is Jason Tatum over 9.5 rebounds at plus 115. Double-digit rebounds in 4 straight games, and he had 14 against Chicago in that game back in late November. So Tatum has been a rebounding force here now, going back a good, month and a half probably. We'll go to war with that again at a plus price.
Okay. Cade Cunningham also 20-3 overrun with the rebounds, and Barrett 18-6. Pistons at home against the Jazz. Jazz can't guard anybody. Just gave up $140 to the Clippers, and Toronto taking on the Nets. And they're laying 2.5. Always go to vsin.com, fire up the prop analyzer. Everything pops up right away, and it's so easy to use. You'll go through every game in less than 5 minutes. Best Bets brought to you by G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. If you're serious about sports betting, you need the G-Bank Visa Signature Card. Most credit card, street sports books, and gaming transactions and cash advances. Even when you put your own money on the card, G-Bank treats gaming transactions as purchases, so you're typically saving up to 3 to 5% on cash advance fees. Right now, for a limited time, get a $250 bonus after you spend $1,000 in the first 90 days. Apply now, vsin.com/GBank, vsin.com/GBank. Subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply.
One bet I will not be making tonight is Karl Anthony Towns over his rebounds. I've been all about this now for a good 2 weeks at least. They juiced it up to 13.5 at, it was minus 150. Oh, came down. I might have to get involved. I saw minus 150 earlier today. Okay. Bet Rivers has 13.5 plus 102. That would be worth a bet, but we don't have Bet Rivers out here. He's been an absolute force, and in these games, he's going over his prop at halftime. He had 22 in his last game overall, but more importantly here, overall in this game, the Minnesota Timberwolves defense now, for people who have dropped the ball, the holidays are coming up. We just had Thanksgiving. Now Christmas is next week, and it's hot and heavy with the football season. Here are your recent team totals for oppositions playing, for the opponents playing Minnesota. The Spurs scored 92. Lakers 87. The Warriors, the second time they played in a back-to-back, scored 114. That's the outlier. In that first game the Warriors played, they had 90. The Clippers had 80, the Lakers had 80, and the Clippers had 92. Minnesota's defensive rating, since they allowed 92 points against the Clippers on November 29th, is 92.6 points per 100 possessions allowed. The next closest team is Oklahoma City at 103.5. So we are talking now, and they're 6-1, by the way, in those games. We are talking about, with a bullet, the best defensive team in the NBA. No team's even close in that stretch. Their net rating overall in the last 7 games is plus 12.8, only behind Oklahoma City. These two teams are bottom 6 in pace in the same stretch. So I know the Knicks have all this firepower. Offense has been great. But the T-Wolves defense, man, they are playing better than at any point they did last season, essentially. So this is going to be another game that I'm going to be on the under with that round robin that I bet.
Good job.
Revenge game, by the way.
That's right. You got that angle, too, with the trade. Good game on national TV. And this is how you're supposed to do it. You talk about the games, you talk about the props, and you talk about what's going on in the league, on the floor. I'm so sick of putting on podcasts, and it's about how do we fix this, and what should we do here, and who cares? You know, and it doesn't help. And Jason McIntyre's right, and this was getting run on social media because Awful Announcing tweeted it out, but he's right. Barkley and Shaq ripping the league every night for year after year after year does not help. And Stern would have let him go a long time ago. So the fact that everyone loves that program and it's so good, yet they're on there and they're so negative, and even about a great story here like the young Houston Rockets, they play bad offense, they do this. They're winning games. It's a great story. They might get a top 4 seed. Stop with the negativity. Incredible talent in this league and what they're doing. Now, it's unfortunate with the load management, but...
How about Silver? He wants to re-examine the three-point shooting.
There's too much analytics, I agree. That's a problem with baseball, too. You got too much... Look at the Celtics are the champs. They average 53s a game.
I went down a thread today on X, and I can completely agree with what people were saying. If you sit down and watch an NBA game today and there's 93s taken, it's unwatchable. It's just pure garbage. There's no basketball. It's just, hey, let's get an open 3, set a pick, and then we'll chuck it up every single time.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
We got to meet in the middle.
Have to.
But in the 80s and 90s, it was unwatchable.
I would agree.
Because it was dump it down to the big guy, back to the basket, 4 dribbles, take a low percentage contested 2. You know, when the games were in the 80s.
Right. When it was not unwatchable is when Steph Curry changed the game. But he changed it now. It turns out he changed it in a bad way because everybody wants to be him.
That's true.
So, yeah. Silver's going to, what are they going to do? Limit threes per game by each team? Hey, you only get 40 per game. Well, we reached our limit. No more threes?
Well, the dumbest one I heard was get rid of corner threes.
Okay.
What are you going to do? Eliminate that part of the court? I mean, come on.
All right. We're going to go into Mitch and Pauly's Pizzeria. Up next, long shot bets that you've placed in recent days.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Hungry for a winner? Sometimes all you need is a slice.
You make this pizza?
We swap pepperoni for parlays and give you alternate lines instead of anchovies.
I'm telling you, this pizza idea is really gonna happen.
From our kitchen to your wallet, sweat with us and throw some pizza money on it.
Double meatball, pepperoni, sausage, peppers, onions, extra mozzarella.
Welcome to Mitch and Pauly's Pizzeria.
Beautiful. It's been too long. FTM at vsin.com. Tweet at us as well. And you guys came heavy today and sent a lot of stuff. I'll go quick. If you listen to Nigel in the summer and you listen to Meat Man, and I know at MGM and Caesars was the most popular bet, but the Man City stuff, taking a look at the pizza money bets, I got Man City to be relegated 18-1, finish outside the top 4 6-1, to finish bottom half 14-1, and then you start looking at the head-to-heads. Like, will they finish behind Bournemouth 20-1? Man U was a big price. Tottenham plus 550. Chelsea plus 550. Brentford was 18-1. They are 4 points from falling to 10th. Tottenham's in 10th. They have 23 points. Man City has 27. So I think Nigel's got a full house and he knows something. But if that points deduction is a monster in February, these are all going to cash.
Okay, well
except relegation.
Then let's update these numbers now. What is worth a bet today for the audience to be relegated?
Plus 550
for bottom half?
Bottom half, if you can find that. I would even recommend 4-1. And I saw plus 160 yesterday to not finish top 4. That's not happening.
Okay.
That's not happening even in the 4. So as bettors, we hate to be in the dark. It's like Nick Bogdanovich. Just let us know who's playing.
For sure.
We don't like to be in the dark, but Nigel knows something. And this whole trial, what do you call it, hearing, and then we'll see if there's an appeal, but it's supposed to be wrapped up by the year. But like Nigel said, they're playing like they know what's their fate and they know what's going to happen. So you're talking about a club that in the last 11 matches has 1 win. So, and here's the Brentford stuff, too. 20-1, Bournemouth 18, Tottenham plus 550, Chelsea 5-1, Man U 5-1, 6-1. That's all to finish ahead of Man City. The relegation is tough because, again, that bet was made in August. You didn't know Southampton and Wolverhampton would be this bad. So, but still, there's still hope for you, and people continue to bet relegation.
When were those bets made to finish higher?
All August. These are all August.
Copy that.
Yeah. Well, we haven't done this in a long time, but this is really getting juicy with how bad they're playing on the pitch. Good job, guys.
All right. Tonight, I'm going to go Bo Nix, most rushing yards, 12-1.
All right.
He had 60-plus the first time they played the Chargers. The Broncos are one of the best teams at slowing down running backs. Teams can't really run on them that well, and the Chargers have not been able to run anyway since J.K. Dobbins has been out. And the Broncos, maybe this is like an estimate game. Javonte Williams, again, has 18 yards on his last, check that, 14 yards on his last 18 carries. He's not the same guy that he was a couple years ago. So who's going to go off running the football? This guy might. So I'll take Bo Nix at 12-1, most rushing yards tonight in the Thursday night game. And I know we did this yesterday, but Sam Darnold 25-1 to win Comeback Player of the Year. Look, when there are 2 people on VSiN, one's Adam Shine, flat out telling you that his vote's going to go to Sam Darnold. And Rich Gannon, we asked him yesterday, another guy who has a vote, says that he's more than open to the idea. Okay.
Are you 100% what you said the other day? That it's not dictated by the league?
Yeah, it comes down.
The people,
they look at, I'm like 99% on that.
Oh, that's huge. That is huge.
Sure.
Big. Little manigot, little garlic bread. How about Robert? Giants 13-1, most losses. He sent that in.
Well, that's looking pretty good.
Good job. And what's the other one I wrote down? Listener has Washington 150-1, Super Bowl 75-1 to win the NFC. You're going to make the playoffs. You got a shot. All right, pizza place from all the listeners. Action 4th on X. Darnold, Comeback Player of the Year, 16-1. Chris C. Eagles to win the NFC. Bills AFC. Texas to win the college football. 500-1. That's got a shot.
Wow, when did you bet that?
Wow, that is, you are live,
That's
man.
absolutely live.
That's great.
The one before that at BR, well, that's the first bet that I see. It's dead.
The Denver?
Yeah, the Denver hat trick here. Joker MVP, McKinnon Hart, and Knicks is not winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, so that's a dead ticket.
Okay, well, 135-1.
Yeah,
not bad.
sure.
He had a good ride till last week.
He did.
Sure. Creative, though. It's excellent.
Curtis Rourke, most first-round passing yards, 9-1.
I think he could. Okay, that's not. I thought you could do better than that, though. Not bad.
Well, I like where his head's at, though, right?
Yeah, you're falling behind and have to play catch up, and that's maybe the weather's not going to be that bad. Okay, shop that. Several books offer that. That's a great market. It's a cool market.
I think you can make the case for a lot of the dogs, right? The quarterbacks on the teams that are catching 7 points or more.
I'll tell you another thing you should do if you want to play that angle. Will a quarterback throw for 400 yards? 10-1. That's the whole playoffs.
The whole playoffs.
That can't happen?
Sure it can.
Someone's down big? There's some firepower here.
Yeah.
Okay, very good, though, and creative. Darnold, Comeback Player of the Year. Mitchell, Defensive Rookie of the Year. 30-1. Excuse me, 80-1. Excuse me, 80-1.
Wow, okay.
That's awesome. Yes. See, let's go back again. Because we just talked to Charch, and we talked to him off air, and he's feeling good about it. But remember, Charch came in studio in the summer and gave out Darnold Comeback Player of the Year. And then you go back to when he got down to 2-1, 3-1. That's when the Ian Rappaport stuff happened with Mike Florio on X. And Rappaport goes, well, I guess Darnold isn't eligible. I didn't know that. And then he took him off the board, and then people forgot about it. And then now it's Florio saying, well, I would still have to vote for him. The Shine stuff, what you've been saying. Now he reappears, 12-1, 8-1, and now he's got a great chance to win this now.
Bo in Reno sent in Allmark to win the Vezina and the NHL at 30-1. Well, he's going to have to overcome Hellebuck,
right,
and Gustafsson,
right,
to win this bad boy, and he's still at 25-1. So I wish you luck, but those other two guys are having just incredible seasons. This is from Kyle. Again, Darnold, comeback player of the year. Iowa State Final Four.
Okay.
Scotty Scheffler to win the Masters, 542-1. Well, I think you're more than likely live for those first two. Iowa State's really, really good. Can they make that kind of a run in March Madness? Why not? And then you're going to have, if those two were to get there, 2 weeks later, here's Scotty going to Augusta again, trying to win. And you're going to be live on a ticket that'd pay $540. Yeah, I kind of like, you can also then get creative on adding a bunch of other guys to win, or bet him on the no price at that point.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. There's Square Bob with the Giants. There it was. Sent that in on X. Good job, Luke.
All right.
I missed that. Tom has Penix first touchdown Sunday, 33-1.
I like it.
Yeah, stranger things have happened.
Look at this. Mark sent in all teams to win a title. Thunder in the NBA, the Chiefs in the NFL, Notre Dame in college football, and Kentucky in college basketball, more than 5,000-1. Which team do you want to draw a line through?
Nobody.
They're all live?
He's got a great chance. Yes.
That's worth giving out as a bet for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Crossport parlay Christmas gifts.
He is live. Got a great chance.
I looked at bracketology the other day. Kentucky's currently a 1 seed.
Did you see what he had? He's got 13 teams from the SEC.
Yeah.
3 1 seeds.
3 1 seeds, and I think it was like 8. What was it? I don't remember now. 6
they
or
were
7
all in the top
3 seeds or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, it'll be a disaster for the committee.
Yep.
Oh, I know.
This is from Rob P. Okay. London 2 touchdowns this week. Michael Penix, hello.
That's right.
McBride gets 2.
Yep.
And Gibbs for the Lions 120-1.
Yes, I like it. Good chance of coming in.
Oh, Gibbs is going to have to eat. No Montgomery?
Yes.
Broncos versus Lions, Super Bowl finalist from Edmond, 300-1.
Yeah.
Just the matchup. That's all you need. Yeah. Frank in Massachusetts, Long Beach State, college basketball. That's tonight. Okay, Florida -11, Notre Dame -7, Tennessee moneyline 37-1.
Good luck.
God bless you.
That's great. Been too long. Don't forget the lasagna, little cannoli. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Tip jar was open.
I think at this point, if Darnold wins comeback player of the year, we're going to have to do a Cabana at Stadium Swim.
Be a fun one.
It's going to be a good day.
Well, Man City relegated is Nigel knows something. He's not giving it up. He's pissing me off. He knows. He has the same answer every time I ask him. 40.
He won't expand on
40,
it at
40, 40. Well, today was big, though. They're playing like they know their fate. It's been decided, like they know what's happening, like what the ruling is. So they've been dreadful. Dreadful.
My buddy really likes to fire. He said, should I unleash hell at 10-1?
Relegation?
Yes.
No, bottom half.
You can't find it.
Can't find it.
No.
How about top 4?
No.
Can't find it.
He can only find to be relegated.
10-1 still worth a bet.
Okay. Right.
Because then you could maneuver, and if it comes, like Wyss said, if it's 40 points, and then you're looking at, what would that be, minus 20, minus 13, whatever he said. In sports betting and trading, probability a key to success. Discover the power of high probability trading with Todd Bubba Horowitz, former floor trader and sports bettor, 45 years of experience. BubbaTrading.com/VSiN, code VSiN500. Save $500. Get the edge you need in-game trading. BubbaTrading.com/VSiN, promo code VSiN500.
Best bets in college football. Brad Powers next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Hardcore college football here as professional sports bettor Brad Powers joins the program now. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow Brad on X at BradPower7. Website is BradPowerSports.com, and he's part of the Bet the Board podcast as well. Brad, good afternoon. Thanks for the time. You're heading out tonight. You're going to be at the Notre Dame-Indiana game tomorrow, so we appreciate it.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Probably not looking forward to the 20-degree weather that I'm going to have both the Indiana Notre Dame game and the Ohio State Tennessee game, but I'll tell you, the local establishment got a lot of money from me as far as the winter gear.
Yeah. We'll get to that game and others coming up in a minute.
Yeah.
How about the bowl game that starts in just over an hour from right now? And looking at the screen, Georgia Southern is down to 3.5 at a lot of spots, 4 at others, and the current total is between 47.5 and 48. Current thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I respect the market, but I'm going to go opposite the move. I know why the move's been made. Originally, money on Georgia Southern because there's a bunch of guys for Sam Houston that hit the transfer portal. Well, it just so happens that a lot of the guys in the transfer portal are going to end up still playing for Sam Houston. So that's why we've seen some back and forth. I just think substitute teacher effect with Casey Keeler off the Sam Houston coach off the tempo. Georgia Southern needs a bowl win. They have not looked good the last couple of years in bowl games under Clay Helton. They played the tougher schedule. I lean Georgia Southern. Not a big bet, though, for me.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you on that one. A good one tomorrow in the morning, Ohio against Jacksonville State. Both won their conferences. I know the MAC's been bad in bowl games. What do you think now with the current number, 5?
So I'm going to give you a possible system and something to keep not only to look out for this bowl season, but any bowl season. So now we've had multiple bowl games. We've had multiple teams from the same conference playing. Let's say we're right, you and me, Pauly, and Sam Houston State comes up short. To me, we're starting to get to that point where, hey, is Conference USA overrated? We know it's the worst conference. Is it, substantially worse than these other conferences? I think if Sam Houston State comes up short tonight, we're going to see more money coming in Ohio. I'm not there on my power rating. I didn't even bet the game yet, side or total. I do like I understand the Ohio money for not only the fact that Jacksonville State has the interim, but Ohio's interim coach has been made today the permanent coach. So no longer a substitute teacher effect. Now it's an audition for the guys still on the roster. So I think they're probably a little bit more buttoned up. Again, a small bet for me would be on OU.
All right. How about the appetizer tomorrow, then before Indiana and Notre Dame? I think the peak here, Brad, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, was Florida, minus 12 in the game? Did it go?
No, it was even higher than that.
14.
I think a couple places hit 14.
Okay, I definitely missed that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now down to 10.5. The way it looks at several books, 11 right now at Circa. Again, as the game is 1 day away here, what would you do with it?
I think we're going to see a 10. So if you want to bet Florida, wait. I think we're going to see a 10. I'm not part of the Tulane money, though. I know where it's coming from, some respected guys that are long-term winners, but I'm not there. And the thought process is Ty Thompson isn't that big of a downgrade from Mensa. He's certainly a downgrade, but not as much as what at least the market had 48 hours ago. I'm going to go over in that line of thinking that Ty Thompson still can be an adequate quarterback. I like the offense for Florida on the other side with Lagway at quarterback, big play threat. I'm going to go over 49.5. Again, not a big bet, though.
Think about how the national narrative has changed here on Sunbelt Billy since week 1. That loss, right, when they were completely embarrassed and outplayed by Miami. To get to here, I'd say that dude put together a hell of a season.
Yeah, and it honestly started with that, dreaded vote of confidence. But honestly, it started before then. They were playing hard. They could have beaten Tennessee on the road. They didn't give up in that game. They played Georgia incredibly tougher than that final score indicated in that game. So they were still playing hard with not much to play for. And, the LSU game really changed their entire season around. And then they backed it up with a big upset over Ole Miss, and they beat their rival Florida State. That trajectory, and then the great recruiting class, Lagway is coming back. I mean, it could have gone either way, really. Probably one game result could have went either way. He's fired or he's coming back, and it just shows you the fine line. A guy being fired, and maybe a Florida team probably enters next season with a weaker schedule, easily in the top 20.
You got the hat on. You're a Notre Dame guy. I'm with Mitch. I think they can win the whole thing. It starts tomorrow. Pat Forty and Dan Wetzel said last time Notre Dame won a huge postseason game, 1993. Do you agree with that assessment and that range with the year?
Yeah, it's been since the 93 season. It was January 1st, 1994. They beat Texas A&M in the Cotton Bowl. Some people thought that would give them the national championship, but it didn't. Florida State ended up with the team they beat. I remember it well because I broke my heart as a kid. But they haven't. I mean, whether it was the BCS era, whether it was the playoff era, they haven't won a major postseason bowl game. I think they've lost 10 in a row. This would be a major postseason game. Difference is it's at home. It's against they're favored. They were an underdog in all 10 of those games. That's what people don't understand. They were actually expected to lose those games. Now, they came up short against the spread in quite a bit of those. But what do I see here? I think 7's the right number. I mean, if it got any lower, I would be interested in Notre Dame. I understand the Indiana money. I'm part of the Indiana money. I bet it on open. I'm kind of contrarian. Everyone I talk to likes the under, but the over, the money keeps, the total keeps going up. And I agree with that move. And that would be my lean right now at current. I think Indiana's run defense is overrated. They have not faced a single team in the top 50 in rush offense. Notre Dame's top 10. And I think Notre Dame might be the most dangerous rush offense when you can, Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, and then obviously Riley Leonard's legs. Not many teams can have that. And then on the other side, I think Notre Dame's pass defense is overrated. Played a couple service academies. Played a couple teams that were starting backup quarterbacks. We saw, the USC game, they get exposed a little bit on that back end. So I think Indiana's passing attack can have success. So add the two together and lean over here.
I'll tell you where I think I'm going to be a contrarian, and that is if the Fighting Irish tomorrow night, if they blow out Indiana. And it's like, it's wire to wire, and they're awesome. And then everybody is going to be picking them to beat Georgia. And like if they're a 3-point favorite in that game, the look ahead was 2.5, whatever that might be. And I know the Georgia backup quarterback, if he's going to be the one playing, I don't like that at all. But with that, they're going to be so trendy at that point, Brad, I might have to go the other way.
I'm really anxious to get to that game to see where the line is first and then to see where people fall. I think the public would want to bet Georgia, believe it or not, because they'd have a plus sign next to them against Notre Dame. At least people in the South could not comprehend that. I think there's some professionals that would really like Notre Dame, that would really question Georgia's passing attack. I would be on Georgia. In fact, I've already bet Georgia in the game. Anything Georgia underdog, I like. I think they'll have a chip on their shoulder. I mean, they've only been a dog twice this year. You know what 2 games they were. Their 2 best performances, both against Texas, outright wins.
How about this now? SMU, from the death penalty to June Jones to American Athletic, and then you level up, and here you are in the ACC title game, and now you're in the playoff. I think all the pressure on Franklin and Penn State going to be cold. No surprise, Penn State 8.5. What do you think?
I think for a relatively dead number of 8.5 in the market, it hasn't moved for 10 days. That kind of tells you that probably a pretty good number. I made it like 9.4, so I kind of lean Penn State. Haven't bet it, though. What do I see? Well, I think you hit a couple of points. It is going to be cold. I know it gets cold in Dallas, but not this cold. So I'm anxious to see how SMU handles that. They did not handle at least the start of the game against Clemson, the atmosphere, the expectations. They played a little tight. Now you're right. They're not playing with as much expectations now. They've already made the playoff. They're an underdog. People don't expect them to win the game. So maybe they play with more of an edge. James Franklin doesn't win big games, but last I checked, SMU is not Michigan, not Ohio State. They're not in the top 5. He's expected to win the game by more than a touchdown. I usually wins these games. If I had to play it and I haven't yet, I lean Penn State.
Okay. And you've been calling, since the matchup was announced, I think you made it crystal clear that you love Texas in this matchup against Clemson. The point spread's kind of been all over the place. It's been dropping, and now I look at the screen as high as 12.5 at multiple spots. Thoughts on the current number, and where do you think that number closes, Brad?
Yeah, I think it's going to close 13.5. So finally the market's starting to come around a little bit, which I thought it would. I can't paint a scenario for Clemson to have much success here other than when Ewers turning it over, which he's capable of. Texas long drives ending up in field goals or 0 points instead of a touchdown. So that can also happen. But if you told me Texas plays a relatively clean game, I think they blow Clemson out. Clemson team total under, I'm starting to talk myself into that a little bit more. I think that's my favorite bet right now on the board.
Take your betting to the next level by playing the ponies on First Bet. Del Mar, Gulfstream, the Kentucky Derby, and Preakness. First Bet has you covered. Sign up firstbet.com. Promo code VSIN200. Claim a 20% rebate for your first 60 days up to $200. Head to firstbet.com today. Reading your newsletter today, I don't blame you. It sounds like you're a little perturbed and shocked that the NFL is going head-to-head against 2 playoff games.
Yeah, not surprised, but yeah, they're definitely gonna the TV ratings are gonna favor the NFL on network television. Are people gonna find these playoff games? Or on TNT? When was the last time you watched a college football game on TNT?
That's a great question. Yeah. They're going to be looking big time. They're going to have to search for that, no doubt, come Saturday. We'll continue with pro bettor Brad Powers. He really has this thing figured out because he's also going to go to the Ohio State game against Tennessee on Saturday. We'll ask him his thoughts on that and also FCS playoff games as well next here on VSiN.